What happens when stress doesn't just make you tired, but quietly changes how everything feels? Not in a dramatic way, not as a breakdown, just a subtle shift. The room feels the same, but it doesn't feel the same inside you. Sounds feel sharper, silence feels heavier, and even on ordinary days, something feels slightly off. You're still functioning, still doing what needs to be done, but the way you experience life has changed. Quietly. Stress doesn't always announce itself as panic or overwhelm. Often, it arrives much more gently than that. So gently, you might not notice it at first. It settles into the background, into your body, into your nervous system, and over time, it begins to shape the lens through which you experience the world. At first, stress feels external. Deadlines, responsibilities, expectations, things that clearly come from outside you. But when stress lasts too long, it stops feeling external. It becomes internal. Your system adapts, not because something is wrong with you, but because your body is trying to keep you safe. It learns to stay alert, to anticipate, to brace, just in case. And slowly, this state becomes familiar. You're not anxious all the time. You're not in crisis. You're just constantly slightly tense, even on calm days, even when nothing is urgently required. This is often where perception begins to shift. Your mind starts scanning automatically, not for beauty, not for connection, but for what might need attention. A quiet room doesn't feel peaceful. It feels empty. Silence doesn't feel restful. It feels uncomfortable. Rest feels undeserved. Doing nothing feels strangely wrong. You might notice that you're always a little ahead of the moment, thinking about what's next, what still needs to be handled, what could go wrong. This isn't overthinking as a habit. It's a nervous system that hasn't felt safe enough to settle. Stress narrows perception. It shortens your emotional range. It compresses your sense of time. It makes everything feel urgent. Even small things begin to carry weight. A delayed reply feels personal. A short response feels dismissive. A neutral expression feels loaded. Not because these things mean more, but because your system is tired. When the nervous system is overloaded, it fills in gaps with threat. It assumes before it asks. It reacts before it understands. This is why chronic stress often looks like irritability, or emotional sensitivity, or feeling easily overwhelmed. You're not becoming fragile, you're becoming fatigued. And fatigue quietly changes how the world feels. One of the most confusing parts of stress-altered perception is that from the outside, everything still looks fine. You're showing up, you're responding, you're functioning. So you might tell yourself, I shouldn't feel this way. There's no real reason for this. Others are handling more than I am. But stress doesn't need a reason. It only needs time. Over time, stress dulls joy, not completely, just enough that it becomes harder to access. Laughter fades more quickly. Satisfaction feels muted. Gratitude feels distant. You know good moments are happening, but they don't land the way they used to. This doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It means your system is conserving energy. When survival mode stays active, pleasure becomes secondary. The nervous system prioritizes vigilance over richness. This is also why burnout doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes burnout feels quiet, like numbness, like fog, like a subtle sense of disconnection. You're present, but not fully here. You move through your days, but something feels slightly removed. Life starts to feel like something you're managing, rather than something you're living. Another quiet shift happens here. You begin to lose touch with your internal signals. Hunger becomes unclear. Fatigue becomes background noise. Emotions blur together into a general heaviness. Instead of asking, "What do I feel?" you find yourself asking, "What do I need to get through this?" You live from your thoughts instead of your body, from planning instead of sensing. And slowly, this creates a strange relationship with yourself. You don't feel lost exactly. You just don't feel fully at home. Stress didn't take something away from you. It asked parts of you to step aside so you could keep going. And you did keep going. That matters. You adapted. You endured. You held things together. But adaptation has a cost when it lasts too long. Perception shaped by stress isn't a flaw. It's a signal that your system has been working hard without enough recovery. A signal that your nervous system has learned to expect demand. This is why slowing down can feel uncomfortable at first. When stress has been constant, calm feels unfamiliar. Stillness doesn't feel safe yet. Quiet feels suspicious. Rest feels like something that might be interrupted. Your body waits for the next request, the next message, the next problem. This is also why being told to just relax never really helps. The nervous system doesn't respond to commands. It responds to experience. It responds to moments where nothing bad happens when you pause. To moments where silence exists and doesn't turn into danger. To moments where you stop and the world doesn't fall apart. Perception doesn't always shift through new thoughts. Sometimes it shifts through feeling safer. Not all at once, not dramatically, but gradually. It might begin with noticing tension without trying to change it, with letting your breath move naturally, with allowing quiet to exist without filling it. It might begin with acknowledging exhaustion without judging it, with letting yourself rest before you're completely depleted. Over time, moments like these begin to change what your nervous system expects. That not every moment is urgent, that not every feeling requires action. That rest doesn't need justification. As perception begins to soften, the world doesn't suddenly become bright or easy. It becomes less sharp. Neutral moments feel neutral again. Time stretches slightly. You stop scanning every interaction for hidden meaning. You feel more present. Not because life has changed, but because your system feels safe enough to be here. This isn't about becoming positive. It isn't about fixing yourself. It's about allowing your system to come out of constant protection. When that happens, clarity returns on its own. You begin to recognize yourself again. Not the version that pushes through everything, but the version that can exist without constant effort. If this reflection feels familiar, it may be because your stress has been asking not for answers, but for relief. There's no need to rush anything, no need to force calm. What often helps most is patience, gentleness, and time. Sometimes the world doesn't need to change. Sometimes the lens simply needs to rest. And if this quiet space feels grounding, you're always welcome to return to it. A place where your nervous system doesn't have to stay alert. A reminder that you are not broken. You are tired, and tired systems deserve care. That's often where perception begins to soften, and where the world slowly starts to feel a little more spacious again.